And fully cast concrete, I talked a little bit about that at the Untitled Church, but this was done in, Queen Victoria died in 1901, and the following year, very quickly, they raised funds, and they put up this little building, and the initials are still there, Victoria Regina Imperatrice, Empress, and that's the Victoria Memorial, which became the reading room before the public library was even thought of and built. And that was solid cast concrete, very wide, chippings, no steel. The library was done the same way, and it's extremely, when I talk about demolishing a library, that ain't going to be no easy thing, because there were some sections of Government House that they were trying to demolish, and they had to give up because the cast concrete was so thick and strong, you know. So that's the library which was constructed, and then, as I mentioned, the Untitled Church, and this was the first dwelling house that was constructed with this method. That is the Charlotte Valley Estate House. Everything was in formwork, and then they cast, and then they built the formwork. And if you go inside, you have these amazing linkages of the roof frame. So it's one of the more modern plantation houses. It uses concrete, but the elements are traditional plantation housing. I came across an old photograph of the cattle mill with its steep roof and all that. One of these days when I do it. The other church that was cast concrete fully was the St. Alphonsus Church. The old St. Alphonsus Church, which was built like a kind of Byzantium. That photograph I took during all the demonstrations with 1979, 29th May. You know, and I got a good fist there. So that was all the stuff that was going on there, and then Hurricane David ripped the roof off, cracked the walls, and so this one was put in instead. Also cast concrete, but of a different type and style. Another cast concrete, old time 1910 cast concrete, it survived excellently. It's owned by the Methodist Church. It's surrounded by the Hampstead Plantation. Talk. How many meetings have I been to about, turning this into something? And it stands still, and it's strong still. But the roof is going, and there was a lovely bell, a twirling bell, and someone stole it. So that was what good. And then the buildings that we know from the 1970s, all of the reinforced roofing and all that kind of stuff, which was good in its way, because one thing with the 1960s and 70s concrete buildings is they still had a concern for ventilation and flow of air and all that kind of stuff. They were not designed to depend on air conditioning.